Hi guys, welcome to Didi Di's Crafty Corner. Today I'm participating in a giveaway hop sponsored by TAYLORMADECARDS4U using the One Lucky Day digital art kit for a St. Patrick's Day card craft. This is being hosted by Miranda Mathis's Craft Collabs Facebook group, and let's get started. I'm going to start by showing you the website where I got these images from and all the beautiful images that came in this digital kit. So like I said, this is called One Lucky Day and it is St. Patrick's Day related. So all of the things that were on here were little cut aparts that we could use in our project. The great thing about digital images is you can size them to whatever size you want. I love this focal piece of paper. I thought it would be fantastic as wrapping paper or on a jewelry box or a vintage album, so many things. But I'm going to be cropping it down to make it an A2 size card using that bottom right hand corner and then cutting out some of the other pieces as well. So here's what I printed out and what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using a vanilla piece of cardstock which matches the background of this paper perfectly. I'm going to be using this corner down here, and I'm going to be cutting it out and then trimming these other flowers out to build up my florals in a corner as well as my butterflies. And I really love that little shoe down there. Now when I printed mine out, my first page, my colors were a little muted. So I got a pink butterfly, and that made me super happy. When I changed the inks, I got a darker butterfly, and that was okay as well. So every printer is going to be a little bit different, and that's another way that your projects are always going to be unique. So I'm going to be using one of these, this little pattern right here for the inside of my card. I thought it just matched the colors and I thought it was just really beautiful. And then I'll be putting a little overlay on top of that to write a little message. Now this card is actually for me. Because St. Patrick's Day is my anniversary and I am making this to display in my craft room for me to look at. And sometimes I love doing crafts like that. So I've pulled out some pieces that I want to work with, which include some lace and some paper flowers, some beautiful little beaded trim that have leaves on them, and some little berry kind of things that you would use in floral bouquets. And that's what I'm going to be working with. I have cut out the flowers, fussy cut my paper flowers out from the project. And I'll be using some little foam type flowers as well that weren't part of the project but came out of my stash. So right now I'm adding some glue to this particular backing that I'm using. And I'm going to be adding my lace trim. This is a cotton trim to the bottom of the panel and the top of the panel, and then I'm placing it on fun foam and then backing it on that same off-white cardstock that I'm going to be using for the base of my card. I will also be adding a pink trim to the back of that, a pink layering cardstock to the back of it as well before we get to the bottom. So now I'm just placing some of these beads that I want to add in the corner. My idea is in that top corner, the top left-hand corner as you're looking down, to have a flower cluster as well as those glass beads hanging down from it to give it a little more dimension and depth and to catch some light as it's sitting on my shelf in my office. So that's about what it's going to look like. I'm going to go ahead and get my paper flowers. For all of these, I'm using a distress ink to color around the edges of all the papers and the edges of all of my die cut flowers and butterflies, or my fussy cut out flowers and butterflies that I've cut out, as well as the tiny little sentiment that I'm going to be using on the bottom, which just says St. Patrick's Day, and the tiny little shamrock that I'm going to be using as well. So I'm using a pink and a brown distress ink for that. I have cut out all my flowers and I will be backing those flowers with some fun foam or double-sided tape. I used both just to keep it popped up. So each layer of my flower is going to be popped up for the actual cut out pieces that I cut out. The butterfly as well is going to be popped up with some foam also. So I did that when I set the flowers down. I put a couple of layers down, and then in between the very top layer and the layer underneath it, that's where I placed my little glass beads for that. So that gave me a little more dimension than it sitting flat on the paper. So that brought the green leaves that are actually in that bead closer to the petals, and it looks like it matches with the petals that are on the paper. So yeah, it turned out super cute. I'm hoping the pictures at the end show that to you guys. So right now I'm just placing all that on there. I'm coloring the edges, and that'll kind of take care of that bottom right hand corner. Now I'm going to start working on that top corner where I'm using these are also paper flowers, but they have a feel like you know, they have a larger texture, of course. They're the little flowers that you would buy at Michael's, right? And I'm adding those to the corner. Now, for that corner, I've added 4 flowers. I've added a vanilla, a beige, and then 2 pinks. And then I've added some little white sprigs and those 2 glass beads that I was talking about, the glass trim pieces that hang down. Now those glass trims, I didn't put a close-up in here of those, but they have 2 leaves, some glass beads, and then a big pink leaf that hangs down. So those are kind of hanging down towards the shoe, which is a focal point on this card as far as I'm concerned. And it just kind of, I think all of this just kind of ties into that shoe on the bottom, which I just think is gorgeous. So I've added all of those little floral images, and I've gone in and added some little white sprigs and the little glass beads, and I'm using all of this with art glitter glue. Now for the butterfly that I'm adding to the top, the other top corner, I am going to be putting both butterflies, the bluer butterfly, in this case it was bluer and greener, and then adding the pink butterfly on top. So let's go ahead and on that butterfly, I also did I used my bone folder and curled the wings. I did that with the flowers as well. That added dimension. So on that bottom butterfly, I added dimension by making the wings go down, and on the top butterfly, I flipped it up a little bit so that it would look like it was in flight. And then I added glitter to the middle of the butterfly and the edges of the bottom wing of the butterfly on the bottom part of the butterfly. I did that as well with all of the florals involved. They all have glitter on the edges of their petals. Now I'm just going to go ahead and talk through what I did for the rest of the card, because I can't really see on the video where I'm at. I took a tiny little sentiment, I think I said that already, and all it said was St. Patrick's Day. I edged it in brown, and I'm going to be using it on this card. Right now I am cutting out a little tiny shamrock, fussy cutting it out, and I'm going to be adding that shamrock to the sentiment that says St. Patrick's Day on the bottom of the card. After Copic coloring it, I just went around the edges, and then I attached it to that tiny little sentiment in the bottom corner. And then I added some glossy accents to the shoe to make the shoe shiny, and I added glossy accents to a couple of the leaves on the right hand side of the card, just to give it a little more dimension. And like I said, I used some glitter glue and glitter to just sprinkle on all the flowers and the center of the butterfly and the paper cutouts from this kit as well. And then I added all of those elements down on top of a pink piece of cardstock that was just a little bit larger than my cream colored base, and I added that on top of a A2 top folding card base. And that pretty much completed the card. Now for this hop, this giveaway hop, all of the All of the instructions will be below this video, as well as all the participants that are playing along. So all you have to do is visit along through the hop and leave a comment, and there will be one winner who is picked for a $15 voucher to the tailor-made cards for you. I cannot tell you how much fun this was to create using these papers, and also just how beautiful they were to work with. I enjoyed having so many options and so many pieces left over that I can still do something with. And I can't wait to share in the future what I'm going to be doing with I've already started a couple of projects using these papers as well, and I will share them with you as soon as I finish them. But for this project, I wanted to make a card that I could place out on display in my office, because it's what spoke to me to do. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope that you're going to play along with the hop. Here's what it looked like before I placed it onto the pink paper and before I added the glitter. And then here is the final card as I was all finished and had added all the glitter. It turned out super cute. Thanks so much for hopping along and joining us in this hop. Don't forget to tell Miranda I said hi, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.